Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat. So, I have a lot going on that I wanted to talk to you about, and especially in case you're not following me in any of my groups. Um, we're going to get into this energy report, but I have some updates and things that I want to let you know before I get into that, and then we'll get into kind of what's going on energetically. We are creating a new class at Empath University, and it is awesome. I have showed some people, uh, colleagues, different beta groups that I have, what is unfolding in this class, and it is something they are so stoked about this. Everybody loves it. It's going to be amazing. So, this class is called Moonchild, and it's something that we've been working on for a little bit. I am working on it with Lydia, who you may or may not know. We're working on some of the stuff together, and what we've come up with is I think that you're really, really going to love. The reason that I'm talking about this in the energy report today is because everything's all kind of making sense and coming together now for me as far as why I've been even doing these energy reports. I started doing them because I was noticing very huge influxes of energy that were affecting my life. And when I was noticing them, everybody else was also noticing them. And so I would explain to them, yeah, here's what's going on, here's what's happening, it's yada yada. And they were like, oh my goodness, that is so incredibly helpful. So what I realized was something that I was doing, which is kind of funny because people will say, how do you do these energy reports? Well, I basically kind of use my psychic senses and I tune in psychically to the energy, the universal energy, the lunar energy, the planetary energy. I psychically tune in and I get a read just like I would with a person or any other way that I use my senses. And it I have found it's incredibly helpful not only for myself but for other people because it helps you to separate what's actually going on in your life and what's actually an issue or a problem that maybe you yourself are experiencing versus this is definitely a blanket of energy that's maybe making this particular instance feel more highlighted, as in feeling like more of a problem than it should be, or I'm reacting a different way than I should be, etc. So it helps your brain to make the separation between something that's very unique to your life, but or something that a lot of people are going through who are sensitive or even who are not sensitive when it comes to planetary and universal energy. And so because I'm very dedicated to working with my students and my following and really helping those who are sensitive, help them make the separation so that they can determine the difference between, like I said, kind of what they're sensing energetically and not allowing that to cause havoc in their life and taking it on as a personal aspect of their life. It's incredibly helpful. It's like there's so much that can go on with that. But you also have the flip side of the coin where you have all this energy that, sorry, I know that might have been loud, but you have all this energy that is coming up planetary wise where you do have to address it personally and you do have to kind of handle your own unique situations because planetary alignment and different universal energy is causing those things to need to be addressed or surface or whatever. So you have separation, but you also have focus on what you do with that theme of energy. How does that theme of energy, even though it's affecting everybody, how does that theme of energy affect you individually? So that's where they can be very helpful. And as we're working on this Moonchild class, from here on out, you will probably notice that my energy reports are going to be labeled Moonchild Energy Updates, because I feel like that's very fitting to kind of where I'm at in my life and who I'm trying to help. Is a lot of you who are moon children, you're sensitive to the universal and planetary energy. I think that that's very fitting, and that's where I'm focusing on as far as what I'm doing to help you guys. So this is going to be what I'm calling the first of my Moonchild Energy Updates, and I think that you will find this very helpful. Also, make sure that you check out the quiz that I'm going to post below. I think that you're going to love it. If you're wondering if I'm a Moonchild, this quiz, I've been putting it out there, and people, they absolutely love it. They're like, oh, this makes so much sense now. Now I'm getting it. Now I'm understanding myself better. And that's really what I want to help you do, is kind of understand yourself better on a soul level, spiritual level, and how your gifts and abilities are affecting you, and how you can learn to work with the gifts and abilities, and instead of ignoring them and trying to push yourself through them, which is the more difficult route. I want to educate you and help bring more knowledge to you. So anyways, the quiz is awesome. If you're listening to this before August 1st, like right away when it comes out or whatever, August 1st is when we're doing the launch of the Moonchild class. And if you want to get in on that launch, or you're interested in the class, please get in on the launch. That's what I'm trying to say. Because we are launching it at a very special price, and then the price will go up from there. So that's going to be important. Anyways, but definitely check out that Moonchild quiz. It's really cool. So as we're moving into this energy right now, actually not as we're moving into it, one of the things that you might be experiencing lately with this energy, especially probably last week into this week, is some really severe burnout energy. Just, you might feel like you've hit a wall. You might feel like you just are struggling as far as, motivation. You might feel you know what burnout is? If you're really sensitive, what's happening to a lot of people right now is they're literally just experiencing a very heavy burnout. Why is this happening? This is and what is it affecting? These are some things that are going to be really important if you're sensitive to this burnout energy. Well, first of all, for the last couple weeks, there's this super aggressive energy that has been surfacing and moving around, and we can thank Mars for that. It's really becoming stronger, and it's causing a lot of people to just feel super aggressive and fiery and more snappy than normal, and just being irritated and frustrated with people more than normal. And it's also causing some super high emotions. So because of the way that this aggressive energy is moving, it's really, really intensely swinging in and out. And as it's intensely swinging in and out, when you feel that really intense aggressive energy, you have these really emotional mood swings and whatnot, and then the next thing you know, it's swinging out, and then you're kind of calming down a minute, and then it's coming in again. And so it's causing those who are sensitive to feel very much like they're on a roller coaster of emotions, which is not necessarily awesome. So we have that going on. But what you really need to know about with this burnout energy is there's a lot of stuff coming up from the past. I've been talking about this before, and it's still happening, but it's really intensifying right now, where all of these past things are bubbling to the surface. Anything that maybe you've been avoiding, regarding relationships, regarding how you're feeling emotionally about something. If you're talking like maybe you've created a perspective on maybe something happened in your life, something situational happened in your life, and this caused you to create a perspective on either that particular person or that a particular type of event that happened in your life. Something made you feel unsettled, or it didn't make you feel happy. We're not talking about happy emotions here. We're talking about lower vibration emotions here, where you were feeling maybe alone, or you were feeling really upset or sad or a loss or something of that nature. And somehow that has really kind of stuck with you and it's sort of labeled that time frame in your life or that event or that situation with a certain lower vibration energy feeling. Those are all now starting to bubble up to the surface with this weird aggressive energy that we're facing. And it's kind of like it sorry, I'm like tripping myself up over here. As we're moving forward into this new frequency, this higher frequency energy, and I think that I've talked about this before, we cannot remember energy matches like energy, right? So we cannot move forward into that space that we want to move forward in if we're hiding away in these little nook and crannies, some stuff that's affecting our vibration that we're still holding on to. Something that is kind of in our craw, kind of like just stuck there, that we kind of try to put a cork on and we don't really want to face or deal with. But if the subject comes up, it leaves you feeling like, tense or stressed, or like, oh yeah, that thing. Anything like that we've tucked away and tried to ignore and or bury, we cannot move forth into this higher frequency energy by bringing that with us. And energetically, how that works with people is, imagine that you have this emotional suitcase, or not an emotional suitcase, an energetic suitcase, a vibrational suitcase. And in this suitcase, we put in, a shirt of this unhappiness here, and maybe some happy shoes, and then maybe we take a hat that was a really non-productive part in our life, we throw that in there, and then we have some socks that we're just like not, we just want to forget we even have them, but we throw that in there. So like you throw all these vibrations in this suitcase, right? And we pull it along. Well, the lower vibrations are weighted heavier. They're heavier items. And so it gets harder and harder to drag this suitcase or pull it with you to where you want to travel to, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So like the more junk that you throw in there, it gets bigger and bigger and heavier, and then it just gets to where you're just struggling to pull this suitcase. And or you turn around, you start trying to push the suitcase, and you're really trying to push it, and you're trying to get to your destination. And what can happen during this point in time is where we're actually kind of going up a hill vibrationally. And so as we're moving up this hill vibrationally, it's taking us a lot of energy. Just think about like if you had to do like a 5-mile trek up a mountain. We are energetically taking this 5-mile trek up a mountain to the higher vibration location. And as we're moving to this higher vibration location, we are now trying to push and pull this baggage with us. So even if you didn't have baggage with you, this trek is not something you're used to, and you're going to start getting tired and want to rest along the way. And if it is something where you're pushing this old stuff that's bubbling from the past, this old feelings, these old emotions that you're holding on to somehow, and maybe, you might, most likely you're denying that you're holding on these emotions because that's what everybody does and that's like normal. So you might be going, yeah, I'm not really holding on to anything. But if you're experiencing this, I would challenge you to kind of look and really see what you might be holding on to, just that really feels like it kind of gets you when you think about it, you know? And so, anyways, those who people who just might be really having to face these situations at this point in time, they're going to just hit a wall and just be like, I can't push this anymore. I'm burnt out. I don't want to struggle with this heavy suitcase anymore. And you might find that during that time, you're going to have to address, talk about, or resolve any issues that might be causing the suitcase to be really heavy. And it could involve, like I said, it can involve relationships with people, whether they be friends, families, spouses. It could involve choices that you've been putting off. It could involve situations that happened in the past that tainted your perspective or formed your perspective to be a certain way, and then maybe that situational energy is coming up again, because that's what I mean. These things are going to bubble to the surface because you're not going to be let into the top of the mountain without having to really have kind of cleared yourself of all of this junk stuff. So all this energetic junk is going to bubble up, and there's going to be times where you're going to have to face it, and you're going to have to figure out how to resolve it, but basically figure out how to come to peace with any of these low vibration energies that are affecting you more than you realize. And then on top of that, we got the world kind of dealing with its own low vibration frequency and fear and worry and all of that. So if you're one that maybe is going, I seriously, Jen, I've challenged myself and I can't find anything in the nook and cranny that I think I'm hiding or holding on to, then it might be an area where you have, you're picking up on and feeling all the stuff that's going on globally, and that fear and worry and panic has just fried you. You're just completely fried and tired, and you don't want to deal with it anymore. So you're just like, whatever, I don't even care anymore. Or you have to find peace with it somehow by facing your biggest fears. And that's what a lot of you are going to have to do right now, is really face some of your biggest fears before you can keep moving on that trek up to the higher vibration. And it is something that if you don't do, most likely will bubble to the surface, and you'll find these old emotions clashing with new emotions of moving forward and just wanting a clean slate and wanting to move forward more peacefully and just moving forward. And so how I kind of explain it is I think of it like, let's say that you get to this place and you have this hole that you can walk through, that you can fit your body through, and so you kind of go through the hole, and then you keep trying to pull the suitcase that's a giant square heavy thing through the round hole, and it's just not going to fit. It's just not going. There's no way to get that suitcase to fit through this round hole. It's heavy. It's not shaped right. Your stuff that's bubbling to the surface is heavy and not shaped right. And so you need to come to terms with, you know what? I don't want to pull this forward anymore. I need to be okay with letting this go. There's new stuff in front of me. There's new ways to look at things. There's new things to buy that's in my old suitcase. I'm gonna leave those shorts with holes in them behind. I'm gonna buy new shorts that are like actually not 15 years old, that I've been holding on to and don't have holes in them, and they have new energy attached. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to adjust my life to match a new vibration and a higher vibration. And I just don't want to carry any of this emotional stuff with me anymore. And that's what's really happening right now. This is what a lot of people are experiencing right now. And this is what you're going to have to deal with. So that's going to be very important moving forward. So that burnout energy that you're experiencing is something that's going to need to be addressed. It just really is. And as you work through these emotions, as you work through what's happening with just feeling burnout or what it is that you really want to move forth with, this is the time that you really want to find peace in your life. This is the time where anything that's been driving you nuts, you want to try to find peace with. You want to try to revisit perspectives and anything that's causing you stress, worry, or concern. So that's one of the things that people will probably be asking me about. Is this sounds great? I realize that I'm suffering from burnout. I realize that I've hit like a wall, spiritually, energetically, whatever. I realize that I'm trying to carry all this stuff and fit the square through the round peg. And I'm tired. So, and I even kind of know what those things are. So what do I do? Well, that's going to be an individual, unique situation because everybody's different. And you're going to want to revisit that situation. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to realize that if it's coming to the surface now and it's something that you kind of created with or dealt with in the past or not created, but it's kind of been, there's a history there somewhere, or that you're noticing those emotions that are coming up now are tied to something that's gone on, back somewhere in your past, then if that is happening in your life right now, then you need to realize that it's causing you more issues and that vibration's not matching your future destination. So whether you want to believe it or not to believe it, that's something that's going to need to be addressed, and it's going to probably continue to surface until it is addressed, until you somehow come to peace with those emotions. And the weird thing is, it's most likely probably not going to turn out as bad as you think it is, or where you're headed is actually in a better place than you think it is. But since your frame of reference is this weird other perspective that you have, you can't see how things are actually going to unfold nicely, and you can't see the positivity that's coming, and you can't see that there's actually some really good shifting and changing right ahead of you, because there's a lot of positive energy ahead of you right now. There's a lot of positive energy circling around us globally and even individually. That's how the energy is working right now, but we're not being able to see that, and we're not being able to feel that if we're sticking to something from a past experience. So most likely you're going to be seeing some cool shifts and changes regarding any of these fears and worries anyway. If it's something that you are feeling that you are maybe you have a clean slate, you're all good, and then you are moving forward and you're trying to move forward, but you're feeling the global intensity, or maybe some stuff that other people are going through, it's still the same thing, because you're feeling, even if it's not necessarily directly affecting your individual life, if you have fear, worry, or concern, that's affecting your individual life. And not everybody is moving forward right now at this point in time with fear, worry, and concern. And should there be some valid fears or worries? Maybe. Sure. I mean, in some instances, yes, there should be some valid fears and worries. But sitting there and being fearful and worried about it really isn't going to shift things. And most likely, I love the I think it was Einstein who said some of the worst things that ever happened. He said some of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life actually never happened. His point being, he worried and was so fearful about them happening, and then they never actually really did. So that's kind of something that you're going to want to look at. So, anyways, burnout is caused by lower vibration emotions, issues, and situations that you've had in past that you're trying to move forward into this energy and into this new frequency. And what's happening right now, why it's just getting so bad, is that hill's getting steeper. The frequency is getting higher, and we're nearing the higher frequency, which means that hill's getting steeper, and it's getting harder to push your old stuff, low vibrations up that hill. It just is. And if you don't figure it out, you're just not going to get up that hill very far, right? So you really want to figure that out. And it's not going to be the worst thing in the world for you to take some time. Take some time to reflect on things is really a good idea. Take some time to rest, relax, maybe switch up your routine so that you're kind of just chilling for the minute. That's really a good idea right now. It's not necessarily the best time right now to make major life decisions right now. Now's not necessarily the time because of being right in between frequencies. The time to make major decisions is going to be coming up. That's not the time right now. And it's definitely not the time to do with all this energy going on. So you don't want to be making any major life shifts at this point in time. That time will be coming. But you do want to use this time for reflection and reflecting back on situations and things and where you're at right now. You want to use this time to reflect and ask yourself, am I feeling any worries and fears and stresses? Because we need to address those. I want to address those and kind of see where I'm at. I want to reflect and see where I'd like to be going forward. So reflecting and then getting into the planning stages, right? So that's another thing that you're going to want to be doing. And you're going to want to use your mantra this week should be basically internal peace. You want to start monitoring how you're feeling internally, and just going all decisions and choice making right now and things that you do, perspectives should be going, okay, what's bringing me the most internal peace right now? Okay, I'm going to move that direction. Okay, with this decision, what brings me the most internal peace? Okay, I'm going to move that way. Okay, you know what I mean? So move towards inner peace right now. That's one thing that you're definitely going to want to do. And for anything that is so much weight, just let it go. That's the last thing that you're going to want to do. Holding on to anything emotionally from the past or situationally or just anything that you're trying to force to be a certain way, or you feel like you're trying to hold it together a certain way, or you're just feeling like you're trying to, like, this is taking so much work to make this particular thing happen, just let it go. If you feel like you're forcing something, holding something, trying to hold something together, you're trying to, just you're putting all your effort into really moving something the way that you want it to be, or you're trying to force a particular outcome, that is definitely what a lot of people are doing right now, is trying to force outcomes. Because of why? Because of fear and worry. Now is your time to do your trust fall with the universe. It is time to let it go. We have positivity, energy, high energy coming, positivity and high energy, high frequency energy in front of us. So if there's any time to let something go and see what flows back in, now's the time, because of the high frequency energy moving in. And that's all part of that burnout feeling, that really steep hill, everything bubbling up, just getting tired, not wanting to face. All of this is because we have this super powerful, good, positive energy moving in. And just trust that. Just trust it's coming in, and just don't bring any junk with you. Just let it go. And I think, truthfully, I think that it's pretty easy to ignore things that you want to ignore, and you think, oh, this really isn't causing me issues, until what? It's causing you issues. And that's the whole point of the energy that we're feeling right now. Is it's kind of the universe's way of saying, this is causing you more stress and more problems than you realize, so it's time to just get rid of this right now. Anyways, okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this Moonchild energy update, and I hope to see you taking the quiz, because I really think you're gonna love it. It's very cool, and this is kind of the stuff that we get into a little bit in the Moonchild class, but actually, well, not really. I guess. I'm going to be talking about, I don't want to give too much away, but we're going to be really working through action stuff and what to do during different moon phases for all different kinds of things coming up regarding the current energy, because I keep getting a lot of requests on, well, what do I do personally for this, to work through this energy? And we're going to work through money stuff and relationship stuff and karma stuff and past life stuff. And you're going to really have a set plan, and you're going to know how to deal with all this energy as we move forward into the next months. Each month you're going to get something very cool to work on and work with as far as lunar energy goes. Not to mention the other cool stuff that's going to come with it, like text messaging and a new group and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, definitely check out the Moonchild quiz. Definitely check out the course once it's available if you want to get in and get grandfathered in on that really good price. And that'll be happening on August 1st. So subscribe if you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, whatever it is that you do on whatever platform it is. And I will see you soon. Have the most amazing day. Aloha.